my special friends, believe it or not, it's already, again, it's Thursday, 2 p.m., right? So it's time for our weekly Facebook Live, and we call it the Inspiring Thought Thursday, as inspired by you, Jessica, also, we are having our Inspiring Thought Thursday again today, and as you know, my mission, my purpose is really to help you use the power of your voice in greater ways so that you shine your light in a greater way. You get recognized, you get appreciated, you get visible in the first place. You use the power of your voice to advance your mission and make a bigger impact in the world. So me make a bigger impact together. And as you know, in December, we started, another series of videos where we really dive into what makes a thought leader stand out, what makes someone, what helps someone attract people that follow them, that connect with them, that want to talk to them, be in exchange with them. How do thought leaders build a loyal tribe of followers? How do they get people to like them, to trust them, to want to work with them? Because then when you know how that's done, you can just do it yourself and you can stand out in a greater way. And I see we have more, amazing people joining us, like Kalia, right? Jacopoulou, Larku, fabulous. Also we have Susanne. Hi, Susanne, great to have you with us, right? Susanne de Monk, it's lovely to have you. And, we started on in December with this, as I said, we looked into what makes a thought leader stand out? And we said, hey, thought leaders are courageous. And what we do now, week after week after week, we break it down into individual, perspectives, and we dive deeper into what does it mean to be courageous. And we said the word courageous can be broken, obviously, into individual letters, and every letter stands for something. So we already spoke about what the C stands for. We spoke about how do you gain more clarity about who is your ideal audience, clarity about who is your ideal client that you would like to attract more as you raise and share your message in greater ways. And hi, Kalia, it's great to have you. Okay, wishing you also a fabulous new year, and everyone that's here with us for the first time today and hasn't been with us last week. I'm wishing you a fabulous, healthy, successful, vibrant 2021, start stepping up, start, sharing your message in greater ways, start stepping up as a speaker, turn what you do, actually, bring it to a different level, build a solid business structure around what you do, Kalia and everyone else, so that you get really noticed out there, so you become the outstanding thought leader and your business becomes the outstanding business in your market that you want it to be. So again, as we said, we spoke about clarity, okay, being more clear on who do you want to attract as you share your message and your voice in greater ways. Also, last week we spoke about, the O stands for originality. How do you become more original? And it goes pretty much hand in hand with what we are talking about today, right? So today we will speak about how do you really become unapologetically yourself, right? You want to be original. And when we spoke about how you become original, I think you remember we spoke about, the 5 magical O's, right? Like how you share your original story, your original experience, how you share your original methods and so on, right? And now we go even a step further and we will talk about how do you become even more brave and bold? And how do you share your message in an unapologetic way, in a way that you cannot be copied by anyone else? Because when you're original, right, people that are original are not easily being copied. But if you're really unapologetically yourself, and we're going to talk about what that means and how you share your own message in unapologetic ways, then, you are unique, right? You are someone that you cannot get copied easily. And, really the question is, what does it mean to be more bold? How do you become more bold? What does it mean to be unapologetic as a speaker, as an expert, as an entrepreneur? What does it mean? And, how do you become that? Is it a question of courage? Or is it a question of what you say and how you say things, that you appear as someone coming across as unapologetically yourself? What really is it? And here's one thing that I'd like to talk about first, before we dive into how do you do it yourself. Let's talk about first, what does it mean being unapologetic? And let's talk about why is it so difficult for a lot of people to really show up, be bold, be themselves. So let's talk about what it is in the first place. So unapologetically means, in a way, that you share what's going through your mind, what's going through your heart, in a loving, caring way, of course, but you share it without looking at what do other people think about you. You do it in a way that you just share what is true to you, right? You hear me often speak about how do you speak your own truth. And again, when you're speaking unapologetically and you're sharing your message unapologetically, it means that you speak your truth and you speak the truth, not maybe only your own, but also the truth of a situation. You start switching perspectives and you look at things from different angles and you speak the truth, and especially you speak your own truth, without really so much wondering, what do other people think about me? What do they say about me? You are unapologetically yourself. You're bold, you're brave, and you share what is happening. You're not holding back. And, a lot of people are holding back, really sharing their opinion, sharing their own stories, talking about how they felt, talking about moments when they had a weak moment. Why do so many people don't do that? If you look at it on social media, let me ask you, how often do you see posts where people just kind of teach something, but they don't make it personal? They don't show up as themselves. They say, hey, you know what? To craft an online course, you need to do step 1, step 2, step 3, step 4, right? So people love to teach, right? And still, if you're just a teacher, you don't stand out. But if you do share your own stories, your own experiences, your own thoughts, your own doubts, your own worries, your own failures, that is when people start connecting with you. And that is when people start seeing that what you are going through, they can also go through, right? When they start taking your advice and your teaching and your message in at a deeper level, right? So, also, Anita, I love what you're saying here, right? Speaking your own truth. You said you learned a lot about how to start doing it last year. Okay, I'd like to know more about how you learned that. But you said, I feel like I still have a great journey in front of me, but still I'm happy you are on this journey. And Anita, I celebrate you in this way. We are all on this journey, and every one of our journeys is different, right? In a way. And still, it's a lifelong journey. We become bolder and braver by showing up more, by sharing our message and our opinions more unapologetically. And, again, we go through that experience and we learn and we grow and become even bolder over time, right? So I appreciate that you are brave enough to go on that journey, because a lot of people don't, right? As I said, let me ask you, all of you that are here with us right now, do you feel like sometimes when you see other people's posts or you watch other people's videos, you wish you would know more about that person? You wish that you would know more about what is this person's opinion about what they're talking about? What is their own experience with trying it themselves? What did they learn along the way, right? And that's also feedback that I give to my clients on a regular basis, where I speak about, where I say, hey, you know what, this was a great post and you gave great hints and tips. But if you just make it more personal and you share with people like what's going through your mind and especially what's going through your heart as well, as you experience that in your own life, right? And Sarifa Alonto, it's great to have you with us, right? Welcome as well. So again, we're speaking about how you become more unapologetic and more bold and more brave sharing your message. So again, as I said, you need to embark on that journey, and you don't want to do what a lot of people do and just share your teaching. You want to show yourself, right? Show up, Okay, so you know, a lot of people are afraid that when they share their message or their stories, there no one pays attention, no one cares, they get ignored. Well, that is painful. But a lot of people are even more afraid to get judged, that, you know, other people speak negatively about them. And let me tell you a little story. You know, when I moved location and I came here and I moved back to Germany, where I'm living right now, you know, I was giving workshops at the Chamber of Commerce, and, you know, in my first year, I started to give a workshop on networking, on the power of networking. And you know, the audience loved it. And what was interesting is we had someone from the Chamber of Commerce in there that is actually publishing, you know, the Chamber of Commerce magazine, which goes out to, I don't know, I think 50,000 businesses. And he wrote an article about it, about my workshop. And he was raving about the workshop. And you put in, you know, testimonials from participants in there and so on. And through a friend came back to me after and said, oh my God, you know, an amazing article. However, I heard this pretty influential person here, you know, in this location. You know, there was a guy that said, oh, who's Monique Bloxhill? Well, what does she know about networking? Why does she give that kind of workshop, right? And again, I realized that in that moment, when I was stepping up more and I was brave enough to get my message out there in a greater way, and giving my honest opinion, sharing my honest, you know, my own method and my tools, there were people judging me. And was it painful? Yeah, in the first moment it was. I mean, let me be honest. However, you know, the second thought I had is, I thought, Monique, now you've arrived. Because it's actually in times when you start stepping up more, you get more visible, you share your message more unapologetically, that is when people will start judging you or say, you know, there will be always more people that love what you have to say. There will always some people that will judge you, right? And say something negative about you, even though they might not even know you, like in my experience, right? So let me ask you, in what way do you feel it's hard to be bold? You know, in what way do you feel you are holding back sometimes? Not showing up brave, not speaking your truth, not being bold, saying what's really in your mind and in your heart. You know, what are some of these situations? When are you holding back, right? Like, for example, you know, not quite an interesting example right here, right now, right? I mean, why don't you share with us here in the chat, right? You know, when I'm asking you a question, think about that question and type into the chat, like, what is your experience? It's a great way for you to show up and to share and let the world know what's really happening in your life and in your mind and on your mind and your heart, right? So share it here in your chat. When are situations when you hold back sharing your voice boldly and unapologetically, right? So again, here's a couple of things, and I always don't just talk about how important it is to step up. You know, let's talk about what's so important to step up, because when you are, you know, sharing your opinions, your thoughts, your emotions, your experiences much more boldly, you know, when you take a stand on things, when you share that with the world and you are more bold and more unapologetic, what happens? Well, people start paying attention and people start trusting you, because they say, hey, you know what, you're not just copying someone else's opinion, you take your own stand and you speak about what you really care about and what your opinion is, right? So people start paying attention, people start trusting you. Also, if you sometimes are even bold enough to be a little more provocative, right? Maybe not saying what everyone else is expecting you to say, but you really even sometimes go against the masses, right? And then people start paying attention, and they will come back because they always say, "Oh, let me hear what let me check out what Monique thinks, or what Tamara thinks, or what Anita thinks," right? And Tamara, welcome as well. Great to have you, right? Okay, so again, if you are more bold, people start paying attention, and they start trusting you, they start following you, they want to connect with you, right? They also speak about your opinion to others. Again, they become actually messengers and ambassadors of your own story. for you, right? And again, they want to connect with you, they want to speak to you, eventually they will want to work with you. And that is what you want to achieve. If you're an entrepreneur and you want to use the power of your voice to attract more clients. But if you're more bold and more authentic and more unapologetically you, people start paying attention more, right? So the question is, how do you do that? So the first thing is, you know, I said it already several times, you know, to really be unapologetically yourself is be more bold, right? Take a stand despite what others might think, right? And, you know, what do I mean with that? Like, let me give you an example. Last year, when, you know, when the Black Lives Matter movement kicked off, because of the horrible happenings in the US about killing George, right? So, which all touched all of our hearts, big time. You know, there was actually someone that I appreciate very much, and she was speaking up, and she's a white woman, and she was speaking about how it touched her heart, and you know, how she felt, and she compared it with her own story and said, oh, I've had moments in my life when I felt discriminated, and then again, you know what, honestly, there was quite what we sometimes, you know, apologize my French, but you know, what we sometimes call a shitstorm. There were so many people speaking up against her, you know, where she was just sharing like how much it touched her, and you know, how it reminded her when she felt vulnerable. Of course, she wasn't killed in that moment. Of course, it wasn't as drastic in her life, but she took a bold stand, sharing what was going on in her heart and her mind. And of course, there were a lot of people judging her and saying, how can you? You're a white woman, you're privileged. How can you even say something like, how can you compare your situation to, you know, to this other situation, you know, where a black man got murdered, and I watched the video and, you know, I was crying like everyone else, or, you know, like a lot of people did. And still, of course, I had my opinion and other people had their opinion. So she spoke up, and because she did, she really got quite judged and quite negatively, right? And again, yes, that happens. You know, and I'd like to know on your side, have you been speaking up boldly and then you were judged and it really kind of discouraged you to show yourself and share your voice in a greater way? Even if that happened to you, and I think it happened to all of us, right? Where we shared something and people posted something quite nasty, you know, nasty comments, or we triggered something that we didn't want to trigger, like a really nasty conversation or exchange between people, right? Again, that should not hold us back, continuing to take a stand, to be bold and share what's going through our mind and heart, right? So again, you know, be more bold. And, you know, what goes hand in hand with being bold also means that, as I said in some of the examples that I shared, when you step out, you are more bold, you become more vulnerable, right? So, you know, when you are more bold, you become more vulnerable. And, you know, what does that mean with being more vulnerable? As I said, don't only share what's going through your mind, also share what's going through your heart. Are you feeling hurt in some way? Well, why? And how do you deal with that emotion? And how do you go beyond that? And how is it not holding you back, still being bold the next time again, right? So again, be vulnerable and share. And, you know, it's probably easier, you know, to be vulnerable and to be bold when you are becoming more untouchable, right? So that's the third one. So the first one is be more bold. Second is be more vulnerable. Share your failures, share your emotions, share your experiences. And the third one is become more untouchable. And there's one thing that whenever I think about it for myself, or when I speak about it, how can I become more resilient? You know, and I know that we have in our tribe, we have Roger Cheatham, and he's the resilience expert, right, in our tribe. If you want to ever know how to become more resilient, reach out to Roger. However, you know, again, the question is, how do you become more resilient? How do you become more untouchable? And every time I think about it, I think about a book that I read, which I recommend you to have a look at. It's called The 4 Agreements, okay, from Ruiz. And one of the agreements is become, don't take anything personal. He's saying that no matter what others do or say to you, is pretty much their projection of their reality and their their dreams onto you, right? So again, whatever anyone is saying about you or about what you share, just know that it has not, in the first place, it's not about you. It's all about them and how they interpret their life, and how they feel about themselves and who they think they are. So that they actually project who they are and what they think and what they feel onto what you're sharing. But in the first place, it's nothing to do with you, right? So again, become less, impacted by what other people might say, about what you share. So become more untouchable, right? And, again, there's also another thing, that I would like to share with you. So as we said, if you want to be more unapologetically you, be more bold, be more vulnerable, be more untouchable. And here's another one, that I would like to share with you today. And that one is all about, take a stand, but even take a stand in a way that you become more challenging. Start challenging the status quo, right? Start challenging what you see, start challenging, what behavior of others, what other people say and do. And I don't mean start challenging it in a negative way, but rather in a loving, caring way. You do not want to judge. You do not want to speak negatively about it. You do not want to complain about it. You do not want to speak to give someone else a negative feeling. You rather want to challenge someone, but in a positive, igniting, uplifting way. So what do I mean with that? For example, obviously I work with entrepreneurs from all over the globe, and hi Faith, great to have you as well. Wonderful that you're joining us. So, and when I work with entrepreneurs and speakers and change makers and people that have a mission, like amazing people like you that want to make a bigger impact in the world, right? And if you want to make a bigger impact in the world and you're here right with us right now, just in the chat say, yes, that's me, or yes, I want to make a bigger impact, or simply only yes. Just share with us that you're here. We'd love to see you and connect with you, right? While we're here together. And also just another thing, I'm here actually every Thursday to answer your questions. So if you have any more questions on how to speak up, how to secure more stage time opportunities, how you build a business around your wisdom and your message and your mission, you can ask your questions right here, right now. So take the opportunity to ask the questions that you are in your heart, that are on your mind right now. If you think about what is the one thing that stands in the way for me right now to speak up or to step up with my business, please share these questions here and we will address them with you and for you. Okay? So again, coming back to what does it mean to be more challenging in a caring, loving way. So as I said, I work with entrepreneurs all over the globe. I work with speakers, and whatever one that works with us says at the end of our one-year journey together, or after they've worked with us, for a while, if they're on a membership with us or they're on a shorter program with us, they always say, "Oh my God, Monique, what I really take away is I am feeling so much more confident. I am now able to step up and even stand on a stage and share my message in a bold, unconditional, amazing way." People say, "Hey, I am attracting more clients. I'm getting more visible. I'm making more money." Even in a challenging year of 2020, a lot of our clients doubled, tripled their incomes throughout the year. Some even within a very short period of time. And still, to get there is not always an easy journey. So sometimes, and that's what they also say, they always say, "Monique, you have the biggest heart, but you're also someone that kicks my butt in a caring, loving way from time to time." So, just like with one of my clients where a couple of months back, she was holding back with sharing. She has an incredible aura and she has a really, really powerful message. And from time to time, she was sharing, her message in videos so she would get more visible. And she said, oh, you know what, I don't know why, but I hold back, I procrastinate, I'm not showing up on video on a regular basis. And then I challenged her and I said, you know what, you're so amazing. You have such an aura, you have so many, you have so much wisdom that people need to hear about your experience. And I challenged her and I said, look, why don't you start actually recording a video every single day, no matter how you're dressed, no matter how you look like, no matter if you have prepared a long speech, right? Like I spoke with someone earlier today and I said, would you like to actually share a 30-minute video because a friend of mine is creating a video series on something? And he said, oh my God, 30 seconds video would take me 5 hours to prepare, right? And a lot of people are like that. And we all have been like that when we started out, right? So again, if what I said to her is, look, you don't need to prepare a long time. Just take your camera every day, record a little video. The first couple of days, you do not even need to share it. You do not even need to publish it, right? And by the way, if you are someone that has been thinking about sharing video on a regular basis, and you're here with us right now, I invite you to pick up that challenge that I shared with my client back then. And, just really start recording a video every single day, no matter how you look, no matter how much you prepared. You don't need to prepare anything. Just switch on the camera and think about, what is the thing that I learned today? Or what is the thing that's going through my mind and heart today? Or what have I experienced today? That if I would share that with others, it would be valuable for them. So again, that's what I did. I said to her, look, every day just switch on your video, and record a little message. Doesn't need to be long, doesn't need to be prepared. The first couple of days, you do not even publish it. And then latest after a week, you publish your first one. And guess what? She did it for a couple of weeks and she said, oh my God, it changed my approach to creating videos so much. She said, I feel so much more comfortable doing it. Now I'm doing it on a regular basis. And by her doing it, she became much more confident to step out there more and promote her program and her membership and everything else. Okay, so again, I'm challenging you right here, right now as well, to take up that video challenge. If you want to do or whatever else you want to make happen, just start doing it. Start doing it in your own way. Be bold, be vulnerable, yes, but do it in your own unapologetic way, right? Okay, so again, as I said, I love to challenge. But I challenge people by, first of all, appreciating who they are and appreciating where they are. And then I say, good, but if you don't do what you said you want to get done, that you keep procrastinating, what's holding you back? So I invite you to become more unapologetically you by also challenging others, your clients, without even naming people. When you create social media posts or you create social media videos, start challenging what some people struggle with, but in a loving, caring way, and give them concrete steps on how to master the challenge and turn that challenge into a chance, into an opportunity, right? Okay, so let me summarize what we spoke about. As I said, you don't only want to be original, you also want to be unapologetic, right? Being original means you share your own stories, you share your own message, you use your own style, you share your own methods. And again, that's all perfect and it makes you unique. But if you really want to stand out, if you really want people to say, oh my God, what does Faye or what does Susanna or someone else, what does Anita, what does Monique have to say? If you want people to keep an eye out on what you're sharing, you want them to follow you, you want them to talk about you with others, you need to not only be original, you need to become more bold, more brave, more unapologetically you. And how do you do it? Again, there's 4 major points that I'd like you to remember. The first one is be more bold, right? Take a stand despite you might being judged. Become more ready to be more vulnerable, right? And again, remember that no matter what others say or do about you, or say about who you are or what you say, it's nothing to do with you in the first place. It's their projection of their reality onto you, okay? And then, besides being more bold and more vulnerable, really also become more untouchable, right? And eventually, become, also challenge the status quo more, right? Don't only teach, open your heart and let people look into your heart. Talk about how you feel. Talk about failures. Talk about success stories, but not only, hey, this is the I'm such an expert and everything. Rather say, how do you feel about that? And what does that do? And not only like, hey, now I have that money and, now I can make that and that difference. Yes, all of that is good, but also show people who you are as a human, right? Because as one of my mentors is always saying, when we reach our million, it's not about the million in the end. It's not only about the money. It's really more about who we have become along the way. So you are becoming more unapologetically you when you show people who you are, what's going through your mind, but also what's going through your heart, where you take a stand, where you show up boldly, right? So I would like to challenge you today, okay? As I said already, I'd like you to pick something you have been procrastinating for a while and be bold and step up and get going with it. Just do it, because the moment, they always say like, change your thinking and then you change your emotion. When you think differently, you feel differently, and then you're able to do something differently, and then you get results. Well, it's true, but changing thinking is really, really hard. I'd rather say, first start doing something differently, because when you start doing something differently, you get different experiences and different results, right? And when you get different experiences, different results, you feel differently. And when you then feel differently, you also think differently. So, ride the horse from the right side, start with taking action, okay? So that is what I challenge you on today. And if you are, and I think that all of you that want to become more visible and you want to step up and you want to make a bigger difference, here's another little challenge I would like to give you based on our topic today. The next post you write, right? The next post you write or the next video you create, become more bold, become more blunt, become more unapologetically you. Don't only teach, but share with people, how did you learn it? How did you feel as you went through that learning? How was it hard for you, right? Because that is when then people connect with you, right? And that is then when people not only connect with you, but they trust you more. They trust that what you've gone through, they can go through as well, right? And France, it's great to have you, right? You're saying, this is exactly what you started to do, one video every day on your Facebook group page. Congratulations, right? And you said that after 5 days, it's starting to flow more naturally, right? Oh yes, absolutely. And, I cannot tell you, like when I recorded my very first videos, my first videos were not live. My first videos were pre-recorded videos for a program. But I think the first videos I created, I recorded several times until I felt like it was good enough, right? So again, France as well, I love what you do. And, after a week, absolutely after 5 days, as you say, after a week, after 2 weeks, after 3 weeks, it gets easier and easier. And guess what? You will also see that people start responding, right? You said that you did it on your Facebook group page. Perfect. I'd like to know that people start responding more. You say that it started to flow more naturally. It became easier for you. And guess what? When it gets more easy for you, and you become more unapologetically yourself, and you speak up as you, and you share not only like, this is what other people should do, but you also share your own journey and your own person, how you went through things and how you felt along the way. That's when people connect with it, and that's when they also start responding more, right? And when people start responding more, it's even more fun, and it uplifts your self-confidence to share in a greater way, right? So again, as we said, we're going to go through, what makes you an outstanding thought leader. And we said we're going to follow the formula of how you become more courageous. So, 2 weeks ago, we spoke about how you gain more clarity. And then last week, we spoke about how you become more original. And next week and today we spoke about how you become unapologetically yourself and step up in being more blunt and bold, right? And next time, the next letter will be that we speak about the R, and the R stands for regular. So we're going to talk about how you really show up more regularly, more consistently, so that once you show up more regularly and consistently, people know what to expect from you when, okay? And again, they know when you're showing up, they will follow you and they will be with you. And by the way, my heart goes out to all of you today, Franz and Susanne and Faye and Anita and Jessica and everyone else that was with us today. Great that you're joining me and that you pick up these hints and tips. And I'd really like to know from you, how are you taking action and how you show up more boldly, and what are you trying, and what are you doing differently, and how is that getting you different results? I'd like to know that when you take up the challenge I'm sharing with you, right? How is it happening? What is happening for you on your side? How are you implementing things, and what are the results you're getting, right? So that's what I'd like to know. And then also keep in mind that we are actually running a visibility acceleration program. We're also running, longer journeys for you to step up with your business and step up with your speaking in much powerful ways. And also everyone that just wants to get more regular hints and tips, we are also running, our HeartPowered business circle, which is a membership. Okay, and maybe Anita, you can also share the page with everyone here. Okay, the business circle is actually a membership where every month there's actually 2 sessions we are running together. Every month I teach you something and I guide you through a process so that you step up more, you speak more, and most importantly, you attract 1 new client every single month and more. We really guide you through our client attraction system, through our business growth system, and we give you hints and tips on a regular basis on how to step up with your speaking and your business. And also, we have a question and answer session every month where, we get together, where it's your session. You can ask any question you have. And again, a lot of people love these sessions. They get great hints and tips. They pick up just one additional idea and implement that. And then they come back and say, oh my God, I really made a difference. I attracted more clients, I got more visible, more people respond to my messages. I'm getting more heard and seen. And I know that some of you actually, like Faye and others, are actually part of our business, HeartPowered business circle. Again, maybe you can share here as well in the comments below, how that is for you and what is the experience for you and what you appreciated about it. And so it's great to have you. And I know David, my wonderful friend David Thompson is here with us. Hi David, great to see you. And again, let me summarize again what we spoke about today. We spoke about how you become more unapologetically yourself when you share your message, when you share your voice, when you show up in the world to get more visible. Because when you are more bold, you share your message in your own way, unapologetically, people start paying more attention, they trust you more, they connect with you more, they eventually want to work with you. And how do you do it? As we said, there's 4 steps we went through. Become more bold, become more, open up to be more vulnerable, right? Become more untouchable, and also become more challenging. Good, so this is what I wanted to share with you today. It's been wonderful to have you. As I said, next week I'm going to meet you again on Thursday at 2 p.m. every Thursday for an Inspiring Thought Thursday session together. I always appreciate you being here with us. And next week we talk about how you actually share your message more regularly so that your tribe of followers keeps growing, and you start building stronger connections and relationships with people over time. Okay, good. So I love you to step up, to become more visible, to become the outstanding thought leader, and make sure that your business becomes the outstanding thought leader in your market. And that's what we talk about here every Thursday, and that is what we help you in our HeartPowered Global Nation with every single week, every single day, pretty much. Okay, so have a fabulous week, and I look forward to hear if you're taking up our challenges that we discussed today and what's happening on your side. And know that we're always here. We are your cheerleaders. We help you make things happen. We want to know what you're applying and how things work out for you. Okay? So I'm wishing you an amazing day and an amazing week ahead. And I look forward to have you back next Thursday. And we'll be in touch in the meantime in our community as well. And if you want to know more about our HeartPowered business circle, or if you want to have a conversation with me about your business or your speaking, just reach out, send me a direct message, or just put a comment into the post below. I'm here for you. My team is here for you. This tribe is here for you. So take advantage of that. Okay? Have a fabulous week, and I'll see you soon. All the best for now.